He's been one of my first dear FPV friends, I think, that I met overlined and saw his review videos, and then I was just like, we're friends now. But he's always around, but we haven't had time to do this because he's such a busy boy. So let's do it now.
Hey, thanks for having me. Thanks for having me, man. I'm glad I could be on here finally.
Yay.
First sip. There you go.
Yeah, I was rushing to try and get this. I was spilling coffee everywhere. I even made sure that I brought the rest of the pot just in case.
Yeah, you're ready for this. You're absolutely ready.
Ready, let's go. Just one sec.
Sure. Oh.
Woo!
This is gonna be a wild stream. I can tell that already.
So, John, why don't you tell everyone your origin story? It's always nice to hear people's origin story.
All right. So yeah, my name is John, and I've been flying drones since 2014. Actually started with the SEMA. I've actually got that right here. I don't know if any of you guys recognize this little guy. I
But
first
that's not
discovered.
FPV.
Well, yeah, but that's part of my drone story. It leads to the FPV. It leads to it. Yeah, so I started flying the SEMA, and I lost it, and then I got a better drone, and it was a camera drone. And then I put that camera drone in a carbon fiber frame, and then I realized that was pretty crazy because there was this whole world where you could buy parts and put them into a real FPV drone. We're talking like 2015, 2016. All this stuff was still starting out.
So, like, you saw other people were doing it, or you thought you could do it? Like, how did it happen?
So there was a whole like community based on people who were transplanting this camera drone that I had purchased into a carbon fiber frame because we had all bought it, we'd all spent a bunch of money on it, but it was kind of sporty. It wasn't like the DJI drones. And so once a carbon fiber frame was available, a lot of people were just transplanting it over. And then I kind of realized at some point, oh, this is actually crazy that we're all doing this when you can just buy a frame and buy electronics and do all this stuff yourself and not transplant someone else's proprietary hardware. And that's what eventually led me to consider building something from scratch. But then the Vortex 250 Pro came out from Immersion RC in 2016. And that was my first 5-inch FPV quad. And ever since then, honestly, the rest is pretty much history. I mean, I have loved this stuff since I first put a pair of goggles on, and since I first started dabbling with the modding the camera drones and all that stuff. It's an incredible experience, right? Just to be able to fly.
And you're an extremely wholesome person. Like, I don't know, that's what I get from you. Like, from the moment I got, like, I think the first review I think I saw, it was either the Dodo or it was like the Menace RC patch. Because I was trying to figure out when I'm trying to start, and you were one of the people whose videos showed up, and you're just always, I don't know, just pleasant. Like,
Yeah, I
and
appreciate
you
that.
can tell you like it. So
Yeah, I appreciate that. No, I do like creating content. I like making videos. I still get into it. I don't do it as often as I used to, but when I do a video, if I don't enjoy making YouTube videos, I just won't do it. If I can't get into what I'm making a video on, it's not going to happen. Or if I really don't like it, I feel like people might be able to tell, because when I can tell when people are just slogging through a video on YouTube, they're not enthusiastic about it. They're just kind of going through the motions. I know a few channels that have definitely gone down that path. Unfortunately, maybe they get something in for review, they're not super enthusiastic about it, and it sounds like they're just reading from a card. You know what I mean? They're just next, next.
yeah, like, for me, I don't want to review. I specifically ask for certain things. Like, I don't want them to give me stuff I don't want. Like, I would probably just say no if it's not something I'd use. But like the Aquila 16, they're kind of a little bit on me to like make it. But I'm just like, I literally taught my daughter on that thing. so so in one way it's like amazing. In the other way, it's like, okay, so this is good for children. And
Yeah, yeah, I saw that one. I know which one you're talking about there. It's funny. Beta wanted me to review that one, but I just didn't feel like messing with that. So I chose the one that I just put up on my channel, which is the Cetus X kit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes you get to choose and sometimes you don't. I mean, yeah, I agree with you. If you have the opportunity to try to choose something that you're going to be interested in actually checking out. And I actually like to kind of see where some of the beginner kits go, right?
Yeah.
Because it sort of lets me reset and say, all right, I'm going to try to pretend like I'm new here. Let me see out of the box what this is like. And, if I could take it out of the box and actually fly it in angle mode and have no problems, then that's at least a start. And if the gimbals don't suck, I mean, there's been some crazy bad kits, dude. I mean, crazy bad kits. But I would have loved to have something like those kits when I first was starting out, because there really wasn't anything like that. In 2014, 2015, that stuff really didn't even, dude. We didn't even have brushless motors for whoops back then, dude. That isn't that wild to think that until I think, what was it,
I would have quit. I wouldn't
2017
have
or
lasted in the original thing. I don't think I would have lasted. I would have been too angry at everything.
oh man, we were just happy. I have a brushed whoop build sitting around here, so it's sitting up there. I don't want to get up to get it, but
Yeah.
dude, I did build videos on those things, and we were just ecstatic to get a 65 millimeter drone in the air, and if you could fly it in a straight line and maybe do a very rough flip, like that was considered amazing for the
Yeah.
time being. Today that's just, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Brushless motors changed the entire game, but they literally didn't exist. All that just didn't exist back then. So
Yeah. Well, the one that you reviewed, is it newer than the Aquila?
I think it's probably a little older. It's the Cetus
Okay,
X, the
because
Betaflight
I,
version.
I, I thought it was, because it's just,
Yeah,
can you plug it to Betaflight?
you can, which I think is a big
So
deal.
that's like with Aquila, you should be able to plug it into Betaflight.
Oh, you can plug that one in too? See, I didn't
No,
realize that.
you should be able to.
Oh, but you can't.
Like
Yeah.
I tried to use that firmware, and I'm like basically the video is going to be like, because I still have to make it, but it's just going to be it's perfect for like those, for like a child or like your wife, like you know what
Yeah.
I mean. Like, not
Yeah.
to say that there's women that are amazing at flying, but then there's lots of women that like would like don't want to touch our things, and you can put that on them. And Ariel, the first time she put it on, she flew. She would have
Yeah.
never been able to do that
Yeah,
with the normal.
everybody gets exposed to all different kinds of stuff that
Yeah,
makes them more adept or less adept to getting their hands on a drone. And for people that are just starting out, kits like that, even though they don't expose you to beta flight, um, they can do the job. I liked the Cetus X kit because, well, this is turning into a beta FPV promo. All of a sudden, link in the description. Give me the beta cash. But yeah, I mean, it's been interesting actually to watch the all of this sort of grow up in a sense. I mean, the stuff, I think about the stuff that used to pass, and I was talking to one of my friends about the the Emax Tiny Hawk, the OG one, and how horrible the video transmitter was on that quad. I mean, it was literally only 25 milliwatts, and the thing was just the worst video quality. But so many people still loved it because it was brushless motors, and yeah, you could keep it in close range and fly it around, and the thing was zippy. Like, we, as technology has gone on, what would have passed 3 or 4 years ago now just wouldn't pass at all. Like, the
well,
standards are so much higher, and it's good that people come in with more polished things.
the Mob 7 1S, I think, was like revolutionary. I think that was like the quad that changed it, and from then on, like it had to be that or better, right? And
the
that
the Mob 6, well, yeah,
no,
actually,
the
yeah,
Mob no, the Mob 7 1S. I think that was,
The Mob 7 2S though as well. Yeah, the Mobile 7 2. That was the big one. It could run 2S or 1S. You know what I'm
yeah,
talking about? Yeah,
yeah. But I
2018,
mean,
I
when it
think.
comes to all those little 1S things, the
Yeah,
thing with the Mob 7 1S is that it had the 400 milliwatt built into it. Yeah,
yes,
it had
yes.
thicker motor screws, so those motors are tougher. it
Yes.
flies a decent amount of time. It takes a beating. Like, to me, that was the first one that was kind of like, okay, this is good.
Yes,
And then
this was a long due upgrade from the original
yeah,
Mobile 7 that they released in 2018, I think it was. And that was a big deal because that was a drone like this, but it had brushless motors. I think they were 16,000 kV. You could run 1S or 2S on it if you wanted to. Now we've kind of abandoned that whole thing, running 1S or 2S for the most part. It's just,
yeah.
for most people, it's not really necessary. But yeah, I mean, that was a big deal. And now, companies like Happy Model have really started to refine these. Like this is awesome. This is really awesome.
Yeah, that was that, because basically for me with Tiny Whoops was I got the AE65, and like I tried a motor in a day, and I'm just like, I just spent $150 or something, $160
Yeah.
on this thing, and it's so little and it's not working, and it just pissed me off a lot. So then after that, I didn't touch any of those things for I think like a year, and then I'm just like, okay, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna buy all of them. So I just bought all of them, and then
And
that got me back kind of in. But like, I still like, to me, the only thing I want to fly a Tiny Whoop is like in a mall somewhere where I can't, or indoor racing during the winter. But I'm never gonna go outside with a Tiny Whoop and be like, I want to fly outside with a Tiny Whoop. It's
oh,
just not
see,
me.
I'm completely the opposite of you. I fly outside all the time with a tiny whoop. I mean, I'll go right on my back porch and I'll power loop it and I'll fly around back my house. I mean, I'll do all that stuff, man. I'll go to local parks and there's all sorts of fun stuff you can do with tiny whoops. Surf the trees, try to perch on things and take off. Get stuck in some park lights when you perch. Try to take off and then turtle mode yourself out and hope that you can get out.
Like,
I
how
mean,
would you not want a Crux 35 over a Whoop though? The moment you go outside,
it's just a different experience. Just a
it's
different
a
kind of
better one.
experience. It not necessarily,
You can't
not
say you enjoy
necessarily.
flying a Tiny Whoop
I
more than like a Crux 35 outside.
but you can't go down playground slides and stuff with a Crux 35. I mean, you can't do all that little fun stuff in tiny gaps with the Crux.
So that's what I'm missing in my life.
Yes, you got to hit more gaps.
You go to the park and slide, going down
You
the
got to do the
slide with
power
my
slide.
Tiny
Yeah,
Whoop.
you got to do the power slide. Yeah, have you ever played international game of Whoop? Man, that was actually a task.
Yeah,
I've
all
gotten
my
so
Whoops
much
just
out of international game of Whoop, man. I've gotten
died.
so much out of it, and honestly, for anyone who's never played it, if you are looking to really, um, I say force yourself. It's probably not the right word. Motivate yourself to learn more and push yourself to do new things. uh, Game of Whoop is a motivator, because every week you're given a task and it's got to be done with a whoop. You have to do it with a whoop. So everyone is pretty much on equal ground. And
No, you
you're,
look, just all you have to do is watch Aviation and then know why you don't want to.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed
Oh
it
yeah,
very
it's
much.
fun.
And if any, and it definitely broke me out of doing some of the same things that I would do over and over and over again. So yeah, I enjoy the whoops. I mean, I have a million of them and they all have a separate function.
What's your worst loss?
My worst loss. Oh man, that's a good question. I I've actually never lost a drone anywhere. I've never lost a drone anywhere.
That's responsible flying for you.
I've I've burned hardware before out. I've lost flight controllers. I've lost stuff like that. But pretty much if I can't walk and go get it, I rarely fly it. Or if I don't have GPS on it, I won't fly over things like water. I mean, I don't take those kinds of risks. I'm more risk averse than some people.
If there's no risk of me destroying everything, I don't enjoy flying because I'm sick. I have a
I know
sick
you
problem.
have to go full on, and if there's not some
I just
60%
can't stop.
chance.
thinking about what I did on Friday because I'm just like I shouldn't have done it, but I blame HD0.
No comment. No comment on playing HD0. I'll get in trouble.
No, it's just I think it's good. It's good for racing, but it's just like
Yeah. Yeah, no, actually, I'm pretty conservative, I guess, with some of the ways that I fly. But I also, to be fair, I also do not live in a city environment. Mostly all of my flying is pretty.
uh-oh, John, what's happening? You froze for a bit.
Are we back? My internet is lagging like crazy.
Okay, cool. Oh, you're back. You're lagging. What happened? What's going on?
Yeah, something.
Oh no! Oh no! He's gone. Okay. We'll be back with part 2 eventually.